Welcome to the Friday Night Sports Show. I'm Cody Feldman here with
Jonathan Gold.
And today we have a very special guest, Nicholas Schratweiser, our athletic director. How you doing today?
Happy to be here, guys. I'm doing very well. It's a Feel Good Friday.
First question we want to ask is about Port Vikings relations with the athletics so far this year coming to an end. How would you say we have changed the perception of Port athletics on the social media?
It's a great question. So I think, can I go back a little bit and give a little history?
Go as far back as you want.
All right. So this is my fourth year in Port Washington. When I first started, there was some students that were running Port Vikings totally independently on their own. Had literally nothing to do with the school outside of maybe taking podcasting with Coach Claff or maybe taking radio with Coach Claff. And they were running this on their own, but I thought that it was the coolest thing in the world. So one of the reasons why I wanted to come to Port Washington was because I saw these kids doing this, and they immediately reached out to me. So Jasper and Michael Andrew, they all reached out to me right away, and they started asking me questions. They wanted to meet with me right when I started. And I started in the summer of 2020, so the pandemic was still going on. So we had met on Zoom one night at 8:00. And I saw this incredible passion by these kids that translated into great content. And a lot of the stuff that they were doing in my previous districts, myself as the AD, I was just doing it on my own. So now I was hey, I'm coming into Port and I'm really, really excited about the job and the role that I have and the community that I'm a part of. But then I also have this awesome team of kids that is gonna help me make all this sports content. So we had a great couple of years with those guys, but then as they graduate, it's okay, do we have the new crop, the next generation that's going to take over and start doing something? And me and Mr. Claff right away realized we have to formalize this so that we always have a good group of kids coming in that's going to run Port Vikings and run that content piece, because we saw kids that were graduating, and Claff had kids that were graduated way earlier that were in the field and running this professionally. We wanted to continue that pipeline. I also saw how the dynamics of the world was shifting to social media, and we wanted to get as much content as we can on social media. And I'm only one person, right? So we were we have to streamline this. We have to formalize this. So we worked really, really hard with the Schreiber administration and presenting for the curriculum committee to develop this class. And it was a challenge. It wasn't a rubber stamp, hey, you presented a class, you get the rubber stamp, it's happening. It was a challenge. We had to present multiple times. We had to get really, really advocate for why this is important. So we both have a vested interest in how good you guys do. This year, you've blown us out of the water and blown our expectations away on what we thought you were going to be to what you are. And you've gotten better and better as the weeks gone on, as the months gone on, as the seasons have gone on. You've gotten better and better and better to the point that when you guys went for the awards, I said to Claff that morning, I was they're gonna sweep, they're gonna win every single award that they were entered in. Pause. We're not gonna talk about that not happening, but that's how high we think of you guys. That's how highly we think of you, and that's how our expectations are just now through the roof of where we started a year ago, because we've seen what you've been able to do this year.
This isn't the first rendition of a Friday sports show. We had the Friday morning sports show that was started years and years ago by Mr. Claff, and just doing it with the radio students, and then integrating it into posting on Instagram with Jasper, Michael Andrew, Zach Spring, and having you on it every week. And then
Zach Spring. I didn't mention Zach Spring before. Zach was awesome. Yeah.
And then integrating also going to live from the AD's office. I remember.
Yeah,
that,
hell yeah.
And then how do you feel just it's getting a full circle moment is you're going to be one of our final episodes. We do have a surprise episode next week, but we can't really say much about that. But how do you feel that you're going to be one of the last episodes, especially for this huge of a year that we've had?
So I remember we did live from the AD's office before we were entering the playoffs. I think it was for our spring season last year. And it was really to get the word out to the community on Instagram about our playoff games. And it's funny because we don't really need to do that anymore because you guys have the Rundown, which is your weekly show. And that even the Rundown, if you look at the first episode of the Rundown to the last couple episodes of the Rundown, that's expanded and improved tremendously. So I just think how you guys have grown and developed and expanded what you do is just so cool for me to watch as an educator. I'm super proud of the program that you guys have, and you guys put out really great content for my program, for our program in Port Athletics. It's just really fun and really, really, exciting to watch.
Second to last week of school. Everything's coming down slowly, but the fall sports clearances are already beginning. I want to know what a summer looks like for an AD at our school.
Yeah, so fall clearances open the end of July. Clearances always open 1 month prior to the season, so football starts in like mid-August on the 19th. Everything else, all of our other high school fall sports start a week later, and then middle school sports start, the first week of school. So my summer is really like planning for the year ahead. So like we take off a little time, like in end of June, early July, just to like recoup and recharge our batteries. And then as soon as July hits, like our new like budget calendar year opens up. So then we can start ordering all of our big purchases, and all of our supplies that we need for the fall. That takes up a lot of time. And then we kind of just start planning for the fall. So like a lot of the end of July will be, planning for our coaches meetings. And then we bring our coaches back early July or early August. We do a big coaches meeting with them. We talk about like our initiatives for the next year, things that we do really well, things that we want to improve on. We do like CPR, AED, first aid training for our coaches. We bring them in for that. And then there's workouts, there's open workouts with all of our coaches, for over the summer, and there'll be some information over the next like couple of weeks coming out about timeline and schedules for that. And then before you know it, like we blink and we're back on the football field, mid-August. And that's like what other administrators don't necessarily see. They're like, you still have all of August. I'm like, no. Like I'm rocking and rolling mid-August with football every single day. But the fall is like probably one of my favorite times of year because the vibes are always so positive. Everyone's excited to be back, excited to see their friends and their favorite teachers and our teams. Like I grew up playing football, so football, seeing the football team back, and then plus all our other teams that come in, and we always have a really, really successful fall with all of our teams. So it's an exciting time for us.
There have been a couple new jerseys that the football team got. I remember when we announced we originally had it scheduled for a pink out, and because it was the coaches versus cancer game, and then you were like, no, let's do a pink and black out, mix it together. And we're like, no, but like we don't have black jerseys.
You guys were like, why?
Yeah, we were so confused, sense. And you just wouldn't tell us, and we're like, nah, let's just keep it a pink out. And people wear the pink out, and then you grab us and you're like, go to the Weber gym, for where the team like does their like final preps. And we're like, oh, okay, and we're all confused about it. And then we walk in and see the black jerseys. Is there going to be anything special like that? Not just a jersey standpoint, but like teams getting new stuff that I don't know if you can really speak about it on it now because it might be a surprise, but is there anything we should really look out for the team standpoint?
So those alternates, I would say the families that are in charge of football fundraised for that. They spent a lot of time and a lot of hard work fundraising for those, and that was like a gift to the program. Which was awesome, and we've had happen in a few other programs. I set up all of our teams on like what's a uniform rotation. So every few years there'll be different teams that get uniforms. So we have scheduled a few teams next year that haven't gotten new uniforms in a while that will be getting new uniforms. We have some exciting things coming. I don't want to give away too many secrets. But we'll always look to expand our arsenal of exciting things that we have here. Like this year we did a lot of work in the weight room. We spent a lot of money in the weight room this year, and we'll continue. We're going to continue to expand that and get new stuff there. So there'll be a lot of like exciting things that are coming in the next year, equipment wise and things like that.
We know you spend a lot of time and effort and money in the school. What does scheduling look like? How does working with other ADs work? Is that something that happens over the summer or right before the season starts?
Yeah.
Do the conferences help you out with that?
So 2 seasons in advance. So every month, all the ADs in Nassau County have a meeting, and we go in person and we talk about various things. 2 seasons ahead. So if you're like a spring sport in the fall season, you'll get what's called an overview. That's like it looks like it's a packet, and it goes to all ADs, and it just has like, hey, here are all the conferences that everyone's going to be in based on the schedules and the records of the season before, and here's what your schedule might look like, and here are maybe some rule changes that might be coming into place. So we get that packet, we review it, and the coordinator of that sport for Nassau County presents it to us, and they explain, a lot of things, and then we have a month to kind of like look through it and talk to our coaches about it, and then we would vote on it the next month. They always get approved, because we believe in like the coordinators know best for the county. So then a season prior to the season, so that's 2 seasons prior. So then 1 season prior, we get the schedules that are released to us internally. And then we go through that schedule and we see if there's any conflict. So like there obviously can't be like a boys soccer game and a girls soccer game happening at the same time. There can't be a boys volleyball game and a girls volleyball game happening at the same time. So we look through, we make sure all the schedules look good, and then we make any changes. So like all football games are designated for like a certain time on Saturdays, but we'll say like, hey, no, we want to move this to like a Friday night game. Or hey, there's an ACT that day, so we can't have a test at that time. So we spend about a month working on that. We internally change a bunch of things. We send all that back to BOCES, and then BOCES would send us like the final product, and then we give that one last look to the coaches, and then that's when you guys usually see it come out on like Instagram as like a graphic or something like that. So there is a lot behind the scenes that happens before that schedule comes out. That's a great question. That's a behind the AD world question.
We do have a segment on this show where we send it over to our DJ Hudson Menzel to ask a question.
My boy Hudson.
But sadly, Hudson's not in studio today. He's actually at GovBall right now. But I had him film a pre-recorded Hudson Menzel question. So let's see what Hudson has for us.
Okay, so let's go.
Today's Hudson question is, what was your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory. What do you got?
Favorite childhood memory. Okay.
Feel free to not make it sports, though. Hudson doesn't know sports,
Okay.
as many of us know. But it could be.
So I grew up, my dad had like a boat. It's nothing special. It's not like the most extravagant boat in the world, but like my favorite memory growing up is going out every Sunday on the boat with my family and my brother, and like we would go to this place called Zach's Bay, which is by Jones Beach, and we'd pull up on the beach. It's like this little cove, and you pull up there, and we'd have like a barbecue on the beach, and like we'd just be playing and building sandcastles and things like that. So that like a distinct memory that I have every summer with my family growing up, and now I get to do that with my kids, which is really, really cool. My boat's going in this weekend, so hopefully I come back on Monday and I'm a nice tan and all that, because I was out on the boat all weekend. But yeah, that's a cool memory. I think like, can I do 2?
You can go as many as you want.
Go as many as you want.
Hudson loves when people like to answer his
All right.
questions. So
yeah. Another favorite memory I have. So then that's like when I was younger. So when I was like a little bit older, like your guys' age, I distinctly remember like going to like practices and games, but like what stands out in my memory more than like the games or like the wins or the like winning a championship or winning, whatever that game that Saturday or that whatever Friday night, it was like before the game. It was like hanging out with my boys and hanging out with my buddies and just like goofing around and like listening to music and like, like being like teenagers and clowns, before the game. That like sticks in my memory so much, to the point that like my buddies could like bring up stories and we'll be like on the floor laughing, like hysteric laughing, and all of our wives would be like, what is so funny? And like you literally will never understand. Like we could explain this story to you and you will not think it's funny, and it's just funny to us. So like that is like those are some of my favorite like teenage memories. Yeah.
first of all, we want to thank you so much for coming on. We've been trying to get you on for a little while.
Yeah.
We're busy. You're busy.
My schedule's
Your
tight.
schedule's
I'm glad
very
I'm
tight.
here, though.
We want to thank you for giving us the time rather. Wish you luck all over the summer. And we got one more episode. Then we're gonna be.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes, of course you can.
Okay. All right. So when you're in administration, whether you're like going to be a principal, whether you're going to be like a guidance counselor, whether you're going to be like an AD or superintendent, we learn a lot in school about a school's culture and a school's climate. A school's culture is like all of the different things that they do, all their teams, their clubs, their dances, their concerts, their events. Climate is like when you walk through a hallway, it's how the school feels. It's just the feeling you get when you're in that hallway. I think, in my opinion, the Port Vikings, all of you guys, have done an incredible job promoting our school's culture and our school's climate this year. And the 10, 11, 12 of you, however many are in that class, should be like given a huge round of applause for doing it the right way. And you should be very, very proud of yourselves. And I know myself and our other administrators at our school are very proud of you guys for promoting our school's culture and climate. Like, you contributed to improving our school's climate. The school feels better because of what you guys are doing. And I think that that's awesome. And that, like, you can't put that on a resume, but I wish you could, because you guys have done an incredible job this year doing that. And I can't thank you guys enough for what you do.
Appreciate that very much. I think I can speak for all of us when we say that was definitely the goal in the beginning.
Yes.
Was to kind of spread it. The culture. The culture especially is important when it comes to the football and the basketball games.
For the culture.
Yeah, for the culture. Became a part of the school this year. I think that a lot of heads were turned in the fall with Rundown, so I think that was kind of the goal in the beginning.
You guys got ideas?
And
What's in the future? What's coming soon?
Well, we got a whole new batch of kids next year, because you're taking the class once and then you're gone. So Schreiber News Network is next year though, which is everything. That's not just sports.
It's gonna be amazing.
But then there's also gonna be a whole new group of kids coming in, and
that's just
they watch it and they're super
about
excited.
Like the
man.
Rundown, but like for other school stuff, like I heard Claff when he was on this, like, talk about like the stories of teachers and that's awesome.
I mean,
That's
Claff is the best because he gets so excited about it too.
Shout out,
And
Mr.
I feel
Claff.
like there are a lot of club advisors. You know, this isn't a slight on anyone. This is just like a general rule, like not even in this school, across many schools. There are a lot of club advisors who are just there to sit and like be the advisor. But Claff cares so much about the sports and about the news and about the radio and all of it. And you can feel the passion. And it's really a reason that we've been so good this year. Is because if we're not up to his par, he's picking it up for us. And he's been such a big part of it too. And that's kind of our joke with him, is that Port Vikings is student run, but where would we have been this year without Mr. Claff?
Yeah,
He's been
awesome.
excellent.
Shout out, Mr. Claff.
So that is all. This is the second to last episode of the first season of Friday Night Sports Show. Thank you, Schrat, for coming on.
My pleasure. We'll do it again soon.
We will see you all next week.